never interviewed a quarterback before, and he's a Heisman Trophy winner. He won it in 1993. We're gonna get into that, and it's gonna be a great show, man. Looking forward to it. Got 1 more minute left before I bring Charlie Ward in, and we'll take it from there. But it's gonna be a great show. Tune in. Get ready, man. It's gonna be a great one. So it's great to be back on the show once again for the Rashad Mitchell Show live on Dallas Scope Radio, the 258th episode of the Rashad Mitchell Show. So that's basically it, man. Got 1 minute left before I bring him in, and that's that. So stay tuned. So it's great to be back in the studio, and like I said, it's gonna be a great story. It's gonna be told. I'm just looking forward to hearing what he got to say about his career, everything, man. It's gonna be a wonderful, wonderful time. And here it is. It's 2:15 right now. So I'm gonna bring in former Heisman Trophy winner, two sports athlete, played basketball for Florida State, played for football for Florida State. I think he also played baseball, going to the research, played in the NBA for the New York Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Houston Rockets. Let's hear it for Charlie Ward. Welcome to the Rashad Mitchell Show. Charlie Ward.
Thank you, Rashad, for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on. All right, let's get into it, man. Where were you born? Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Thomasville, Georgia, which is a small town in South Georgia, about 45 minutes from Tallahassee. So not very far from Tallahassee, but there are a lot of pros that come from Thomasville. So we just have to have some talent there. So not just athletes, but made professionals as well. So happy.
Okay, so growing up, who were your role models? Who were your influential people that influenced you to do what you do?
Well, my parents were great role models. My dad was a coach. My mom was an educator. And they raised us to, love and respect others. So, my dad was a hard worker. Both my parents were hard workers. And they gave us, a great example of what it means to be successful in their way. So they were role models, and I had a bunch of coaches that helped me as well. My middle league, my middle school, to my high school coaches. Those were my role models because they taught me a lot. Through the choices that I made and gave me opportunities to learn through my experiences in sports, teachers as well, taught me about discipline and then making sure that I took my academics seriously so that I could, have opportunities to be the athlete that they saw I was capable of being. So I had quite a few role models growing up. We watched a lot of sports as well, and Roger Staubach, Andrew Whitey, O.J. Simpson, Walter Payton, Franco Harris. All those were some of my football role models. Andrew Toney, Dr. J. During those times is when they were top, and they were always on the television screen. So I enjoyed watching them and going outside and wanting to be like them.
Okay, so when you were in high school, like other than football, what other sports did you play other than football?
Of course, basketball. I ran track this year, and I played baseball 1 year. I would have probably played baseball more than 1 year, but I got hurt my freshman and sophomore spring years, so I wasn't able to play baseball or run track. And so I was blessed to be able to have those experiences my last 2 years in high school.
Okay, so now let's move forward to the college years. Obviously went to Florida State. Talk about the schools that recruited you other than Florida State that reached out to you and wanted you to come to their school to play college football and as well as basketball if that was the case. Talk about that.
Well, there were a lot of schools that sent letters. Back then it was, there's, and it's not the same as today. But there are a lot of schools that sent letters, basketball and football. But it came down to Georgia Tech, and Florida State. Auburn, they stopped recruiting me at the end, like a couple of weeks before signing date, because I think they had a quarterback in that class, or they're comfortable with who they had, or maybe they felt like they didn't have a chance or whatever. I don't know. They weren't an option at the end. But it came down to Georgia and Florida State. My buddy Sean Jones chose to go to Georgia Tech, so that was why Georgia Tech was off the list. And essentially it came down to Coach Bowden allowing Brad Johnson to play basketball. He was a quarterback at Florida State, and he allowed Brad Johnson to go out and play basketball. And so that was really the side factor, outside of it also being close to my hometown, and just that the coach about allowing Brad Johnson the opportunity to go play basketball, because that's something I wanted to do in college, and I was going to go where it had been done. But Georgia was, they were saying I could do it, but they hadn't had any history on their side of allowing guys to do that. So I chose to go to Florida State and live with the consequences.
Okay, who recruited you? Was it Bobby Bowden or was it somebody else other than Bobby Bowden?
Coach definitely started recruiting me, and then he turned over to Coach John Easton. Coach McDuffie, Coach McDuffie, he was really the biggest advocate for me going to Florida State, and so I was grateful for him stepping up to the plate to be an advocate for me in the recruiting room. And I'm grateful that Coach Bob, they didn't, go away or didn't give an opportunity. God has a plan for all of us, and when you do what you're supposed to do, people will notice, people will give an opportunity, and you just have to take advantage of it when you do have an opportunity.
Okay, so what I want to do is fast forward to your junior year. That's when you became a first-time starter, your junior year. And the thing about Florida State is that in years past, before the 92 season, you was always, independent. So now, you're an ACC member of the ACC. But I want to skip over that and just talk about, a few games from the 92 season. The Miami game, because Miami and Florida State obviously, was a rivalry, obviously, before you got there. But it was wide right 1 in 91, and then it was wide right 2 in 1992, number 2 versus number 3. And you've come up short. You lose 1916. Talk about the preparation aspect for that game as a first-time starter against Miami.
Well, it was the rivalry was always live and was always there, and there were always pros on the field on both sides of the ball. Whenever the offense or defense, it didn't really matter. Both teams on the field, and you knew that it was going to be very competitive. It was going to come down to whoever's going to make the most plays, like most competitive games. And so the preparation part was always the same, because when you're practicing against very similar competition. And so that part wasn't really shocker for us. We were very competitive in practice. And those practices, prepared us for, those types of games, like against Mount AUL, Notre Dame, some of the top Clemson, some of the top tier teams, and that had talent during that time, a lot of talent. And so, it was always very, very good games. The thing I remember the most is I had 7 sacks. Of course, most of them were on me. That was the first year starter, and it was very, very hot. But we moved the football up and down the field. We just couldn't score. Their defense was stout. We couldn't get the ball in the end zone, and that's what kept the game, close. Because our defense was solid as well. They only scored 19 points. And I had, I think, a couple of interceptions in that game to boot. So it was a game that we could have won, but we didn't win. And it was a great learning experience for not just myself, but all of us, because there were some new starters as well out there playing their first UF Florida State game. Florida State game. And so that was, it was good for us, to be able to experience that and, down in the Orange Bowl. So it was just a great atmosphere.
Yeah, this game, it's Merrick Vando. I remember this game because Merrick Vando ran back a kickoff, 94 yards. He's such an electrifying player, and that set the tone. You guys, your team was up most of the game. He was up 13-10, entering the fourth quarter. He was up 16-10 with 9 minutes left, and all of a sudden, James Ferretta, goes and throws a 33-yard, pass to, wide receiver Mark Thomas. Go up 17-16. Then Corey Sawyer made a blunder, drifted into the end zone on a punt return. He panicked, and it was, flipped the illegal, forward pass, and it became a safety. It was 19-16. But the thing is, you drove the team down the field, despite, getting hit, like you said, 7 sacks. Man, he had 7 sacks, but you had a chance to win that game. Not just, now obviously you had to kick a field goal to tie, but you had a chance to score. But it came down to wide right. Dan Murray missed a 39-yard field goal. It was not easy kick to make, but just looking at that game, man, you had a chance to go in that end zone instead of selling for a field goal. So it was just the thing about those Florida State teams in the early 90s, you always had an advantage. You had a lead, especially in 91 and 92, but you always fell short. What was the reason behind that? Because you always outplayed Miami the first 3 quarters in 91 and 92, but what was the reason behind this, not be able to finish, beat Miami?
Like I said, when you have quality teams, they're going to have guys that can make plays too. And so, we weren't fortunate to be able to make the plays at the right time. And they did. So 91, 92 years, we weren't winning, and they ended up coming back in the end, at the end. But like I said, they have quality. They're very good football players that make plays, and when the games are close and 2 competitive teams, that's what normally it comes down to, is who's going to make the most plays, big plays at the right time. And so, 91, 92, they were able to do it. In 93, we were able to make the big plays to win that game. So we did early, and then Devin Bush, 93, he secured it with a pick 6 to be able to help us move on to stay undefeated at that time. So it was that was just when you, like I said, when you have 2 competitive teams, it comes down to who's going to make the most big plays at the right time, and that's essentially what it came down to. There's no rhyme or reason why. There's a lot of opportunities on both sides, but like I said, when you have quality teams it depends on who's going to step up and make the plays.
Okay, let's fast forward to the Orange Bowl. You played in the Orange Bowl again. And you finished, 11-1. You beat Nebraska. And the Seminoles at the time set an NCAA record by winning its 8th straight bowl game, eclipsing UCLA's mark of 7 from 1983 to 1989. You win this game 27-14. You had a big lead. You went up 20-0. Two touchdown passes. Talk about recollections of that game as you close out the '92 season with, a win in the Orange Bowl against Nebraska.
Yes, I mean, it was a good win for us to finish off our year. We lost that year to Miami. That was the only loss we had. And we were able to, finish strong after that loss because we continued to get better. Early on, my junior year, struggled throwing interceptions. But as we went on, the interceptions went down and our, wins and things got a little bit bigger because we had more possessions. And so it was a great way to cap off our season with the bowl win against Nebraska. It was a solid team as well. And so that was something, we were looking forward to be able to play in the Orange Bowl. But more importantly, to prepare ourselves for the next year, to get us going into the next season with some momentum.
Okay, so let's fast forward to the '93 season. Going to the '93 season, the preseason of one, the game that you talked about in '93 with Devin Bush making the interception. I want to talk about that game, the 28-10 win over Miami. That was a big win. Obviously, you had a lot of struggles with Miami the last 3 years at that time, from 1990 to 1992, respectively. You win 20-10, and at that time, I think, looking back on it in retrospect, you were the better team. Yes, it's Miami versus Florida State, so rivalry, but it was time for Florida State to start beating Miami because Miami had lost so many stars from the previous year. The Heisman Trophy winning Gino Torretta, a lot of receivers lost, a lot of defensive players, but you got to play on the field, obviously, but you definitely put a whooping on the Miami. You beat them 20-10. Talk about that win, man. You beat them finally 20-10.
I mean, they still have very good football players. They didn't lose, lost some players, but they still had very good football players that came back. And we were blessed and fortunate to be able to make some big plays early. Most of our touchdowns, the first half were off of big plays. And so, Sean Jackson had a long run. I hit Matt Fryer on the long pass. And then I scored, for halftime. We moved the ball pretty much, up and down the field all day. Just to keep them honest. We just weren't able to, put a lot of points on. But we had some big plays that helped us, get over the top, or get on top, in the first half, which we scored 21 points. And then the second half, there was 21-7 at halftime. And, our defense was playing solid. They've been playing solid all year. And, once we got 21 points, we knew it was going to be tough for them to, come back. And then we gave them a field goal. And then offensively, the biggest key for us was we didn't turn the football over in the second half, which, we were able to get first downs. We were able to move the football. Even though it was tough, we were able to move it enough to where we had them going the long field. And so that played a big part in, us being able to hold their team out of their points down because we didn't give them opportunities to be able to gain any momentum. And then, then Bush got the interception late to seal it, which they were, we knew the last 2 years we were up and they had made, comebacks. And so, like I said, players have to step up and make plays if you're trying to win a close competitive game, and Devin Bush, helped us seal it. So, I was happy to see that, and we were able to get over that hump.
Yeah, definitely did. But this win is also, ended Miami's 31-game regular season winning streak. Okay, so let's fast forward to the Notre Dame game. That's the only loss that you had. That was known as the game of the century. You lose 31-24. Talk about, there was a lot of hype because College game day was, at this game on site. I think it was the first time College game day, did a remote show on location. Talk about the preparation aspect, the hype around that. Unfortunately, lost to them, 31-24. Talk about that game of the century. Florida State versus Notre Dame.
But really, the hype part, it wasn't we had been in those type of situations and games before, so that wasn't a big shocker to us. The biggest shocker was when we got there, they had blown the grass higher and they had wet the field. So they were prepared for that. We weren't. We had to make some adjustments to it, and so it. And plus, they played well, offensively and defensively. They had some very good football players, and we had one bad quarter, which was the second quarter. Throw interception deep in our territory. Had a guy open, but we were going against the wind, so I left it short. Got intercepted. But the great thing about it was we were able to come back and have a very good second half. We were down, I think, 14 points or so at one point, and we were able to cut the lead to where I think it was 7. And we had the ball, we were driving. So we had to score twice down the stretch. We did score one time, got the ball back with a little over a minute or so left in the game or something, and we had an opportunity, but enough for step up and make plays, one team or other. They were able to bat the ball down. I made a throw into the end zone the last play of the game, and it just wasn't meant to be. And so it was a great learning lesson for us in a lot of ways. But it also brought us closer together as a team because we knew that we were capable of winning the national championship or being one of the best teams because we were in the top for the entire year. And it was just, we had to go through. But we were blessed to be able to have another opportunity because they put us at number 3, I think it was. And so that was very good on our part. We just had to go out and win the next 2 games and hopefully one of the top 2 teams lose in some form or fashion to give us another opportunity. And lo and behold, the next week, we got our blessing. Notre Dame ended up losing to Boston College on the last second field goal, and that gave us, the inspiration, the energy, more energy, I should say, that we needed to be able to go out and play against North Carolina State. We were going to play and win the game, I do believe, anyway, but that was just icing on the cake, so to speak. Be able to know that Notre Dame had just lost, and that potentially could help us move back into the top 2. Because at that time, the top 2 teams. And so we went out and handled North Carolina State really, really well. I think it was 62-7 or something, 62-3. And the game was never really in being challenged. We had to go and finish the deal. We were the number 2 team going to University of Florida, where they had just won 23 straight, at the swamp. And that was going to be, something that, a challenge that we were going to have to overcome if we wanted to remain in the top 2. And, we were able to go in and play really, really well early, crowd out of it. And then Florida hit a spurt in the fourth quarter where they made a comeback and they cut it down to, I think, about 6 points. And it came down to someone having to step up and make plays when you needed it, and we were able to do that. Then we hit Ward on a out route, and he was able to go 75 yards. So to be able to seal that game, and it gave him the opportunity to play for a national championship.
I was going to get to the Florida game. Yeah, he was actually right on the money with that. Yeah, they cut into the lead, the Florida game, 21-20, 27-21, with 6 minutes left. That was a 79-yard pass play. He threw to true freshman Ward Dunn, like running back, to seal the deal, winning 33-21. And yes, to snap the Gators' 23-game winning streak at home, known as the Swamp. And that was a big win. Now let's fast forward to the national championship game. He won the national championship for the first time, 18-16. All the years, a few years dealing with wide right the last 2 years. Now the kicker from Nebraska missed it wide left. His name was Byron Bennett. Talk about that as you win 18-16 as the kick went to the left and you win your first national championship for Florida State.
Yes, that was a hard-fought game as well, and a very good championship game. The more I keep watching it, there were plenty of opportunities on both sides to be able to, take advantage of it, of the game, of the opportunities, and just weren't. Whether it was offensively, defensively, whatever it may be, it was, a competitive game. And we scored only one touchdown, which was different for that year. But they had a very good game plan defensively. My defense, was very stopped well. But we were able to make plays when we need to make plays. Now there's 1:16 left in the game. When we had the ball last, offensively we had the ball and had to put a drive together. And I tell people all the time that, that drive just didn't happen and guys step up and make plays. It happened through the year where we had to execute, whether it was against, teams that we were better than at that time, or against Notre Dame, having to drive the field under tough circumstances. And, that whole season had prepared us for that one drive. And we were able to put together a drive and get a field goal out of the deal to go up 18-16. Probably could have done a better job of managing the clock. But, we were able to, get what we wanted or needed at that time, which was a field goal to put us up. Then we put it on our defense to get a stop, and we were fortunate that the kicker missed the kick again. We had a good Cliff Abraham coming off the edge to put pressure on him to rush it, and he hooked it. So we were grateful that we were able to do it. But just like any championship, it's not going to be easy, and there are going to be some things that you have to fight through in order to win it. But when you do put yourself in that position to win it, you want to put your best foot forward, and we were glad to be able to do that.
Okay, so now you're national champion. Also, you won the Heisman that year. You threw 27 touchdowns. Talk about that feeling winning the Heisman. You finished with 2,310 votes by unanimous decision. You won by a landslide. Talk about that feeling of being part of the one of the most prestigious awards in sports. The Heisman Trophy. Talk about winning that Heisman Trophy in 1993.
Just like everything else, everyone, those are goals that you kind of set. Everyone would like to be a part of it, and I was blessed to be on a winning team, and the team was on television a lot, and had very good players around me to help with numbers and all those types of things, and the offensive line, the defense, everyone playing well, plays a big part in the individual of Wolford, and I was grateful to be able to do my part. And it was a name changer for sure. I mean, people knew the name, but when you win a Heisman, it definitely changes your landscape as far as how far your name goes. Because every time you go somewhere now, and even back then, you get labeled as a Hollywood winner. And, people understand and know who that is. And so that was definitely not what I desired for my name to be, going across the globe. But that was God's plan for my life, and I've embraced it. And it's been, very good. Platform to be able to share the things that He's given me to be able to share. And so, definitely a great blessing. But winning that championship was, very good as well. I enjoyed that.
Okay, so this is that was the interview that I did with Charlie Ward. Okay, back. That's the interview that you just heard that I just did with Charlie Ward 3 years ago. So you, whoever liked the video, you can subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that. But I'm gonna stop right here. Stop this live feed. Come back. Hopefully at 8 o'clock, I'll be doing my the top 50 underrated NFL wide receivers. It's a book that I wrote that self-published several years back. So I'm gonna go over that whole book. And then 10 o'clock, I'll come back with a topic about broken cisterns from Jeremiah chapter 2, I believe verse 13, verse 12, one of those verses. And that'll be it for the night. So got two more live streaming live streams to do. So hopefully you can get the likes up and continue to watch this video continuously after I stop this stream. But until then, that was the interview that I did with Charlie Ward, former Heisman Trophy winner. Until then, talk to you soon.